Welcome back to the Nameless College Football Show. My name is Brandon. As always, I'm joined by Petey. Petey, how are you doing?
I am better than I expected after week one of college football.
Yes, my voice, I have my tea. My voice is trying to bounce back because I did attend the South Carolina game in Atlanta and blew out my vocal cords. We will talk about that in a bit, but first, week one was a week of big flops. Who flopped the biggest? Let's start first with young Arch Manning in his debut as the driver for the Texas Longhorns against Ohio State. Petey, what did you see from Arch in this game? This was kind of sad.
Yeah. So this game started out extremely boring. They just were like, there was not a lot of pushing the envelope or dynamic plays going on. It was both teams that came out and said, hey, let's just not fuck it up. And that's exactly what happened until Texas made the first mistake, basically. But, I mean, these were two outstanding defenses that just were not going to give you anything easy. And you had two, for all intents and purposes, never started before quarterbacks against high competition that were making their debut on week one, so they don't have a tune-up game to get into the season. And it was just a game plan on both sides of don't fuck it up.
Yeah,
And
it was a big ask for both of those guys,
Yeah.
Sayin for Ohio State and Arch, to go out there in that game and make anything happen. And you're right, you could tell by the play calling that it was like, just don't poop your pants.
Yeah, extremely conservative.
It was just ridiculous. Like, you do have to at some point go out and win the game. And
Yeah.
then by the time, like when Texas was trying to come back and tie it, they're not really in a rhythm because they've been playing conservatively all game. And then you want Arch to work some magic after that. I don't know how that was going to be possible. As a thrower, how did he look to you?
You don't really get a good sense of it because if you look at that Ohio State defense, those receivers were just blanketed the entire time. Where was he going to throw it? I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't have a lot of options. That defense was, that's probably the best defense in the country right now.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody else play this weekend that I think played any better than Ohio State's defense. I mean, you go into Ohio State and play again in that crowd week one. I can't imagine, having the nerves be able to withstand that week one of your debut.
Yeah.
But he's very dynamic. He can move, get around, get outside the pocket, move around, make plays happen. But there just wasn't a lot of room for plays to happen.
Yeah. And I think something that was interesting to me was his demeanor. He seemed very much more like the Eli where I wouldn't say he was necessarily super rattled or super engaged either, really. Whereas
Yeah.
Peyton was always yelling at someone, I feel like, and
He didn't
always
have
super into it.
like the commanding demeanor that Peyton did.
No.
He was not that he was like rattled, but he wasn't like overly confident.
No. And it was kind of like Eli. Anytime they cut to Eli on the sideline during his career, he looked like a guy who was trying to find his car in the grocery store parking lot. And I kind of got a little bit of that from Arch, which can be good because, as we talked about last week, Eli won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But I was very curious to see which uncle he would resemble, because I feel like we haven't really gotten to know his personality yet. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, tough to judge him on that one. What's the bigger issue for you? Was he was he overhyped, or is the reaction to how he played an overreaction?
I think that the media they did overhype him, but also he hasn't had the opportunity to really prove them right or wrong.
Yeah.
I think the word on the street was he's going to become in that, he's the second coming. And just was not that, but he can be that. It's not like we've only seen 1 week. So he's got the potential. But he's got parts around him that'll help him out. It'll work itself out in the end. We haven't seen the last of it, and we'll see what he looks like at the end of the season.
Yeah, and he did make a couple throws where you were like, okay, I see the vision, but not.
That one interception was kind of like, why'd you throw that? That was
interesting. Yes.
He was forcing something at that point. They were down. They needed to make something happen. I get it, but yeah.
So not what they had hoped, a flop. But the biggest flop of the weekend, we will have to wait and see. Next up, Alabama against Florida State. What? Okay. They lost 31-17. What was that? What? That didn't look anything like Alabama.
I think it was just Alabama coming in there thinking that they're just going to run over a team that was 2-10 last year, and they didn't really even have to try. And then FSU reloaded in the transfer portal, got physical, and just whooped Alabama up front. That's what happened.
That was the most jarring part of this for me. Is
not supposed to happen, Alabama.
No, I don't know if I've ever seen Alabama get out physical, much less by an ACC team. And when I think of Florida State being dominant, I think of them just burning you up, just using speed and athleticism. For them to be out there beating the hell out of Alabama, I'm like, what is going on? It was very upsetting for me just because it rattled my reality.
They completely changed their identity. Apparently, I think they're just really pissed off after last year, and I get it. I would be too. I've gone through 2-win seasons. Playing and watching, but it's not like I did not expect Alabama to not come in there looking for a fight. They just were not at all. I mean, you saw flashes here and there. They just were not into that game. It seemed like they just thought that it would be easier than it was, and they weren't ready to get hit in the mouth.
Yeah, I think it was Josh Pate. I saw a clip of him saying that Bama just looked like a bunch of guys trying to get NFL tape versus actually playing to win a football game. And that seemed pretty accurate. And it was just all bad. The quarterback matchup, if you look at the box score, Ty Simpson for Alabama, 254 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Tommy Castellanos for Florida State, 150 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 78 yards on the ground and a touchdown. You would think Simpson won that matchup, but if you use your eyeballs, not the case at all.
Castellanos was just a man on a mission. He was playing angry.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that quote earlier on the season, like, why are we going to be scared of Alabama? They ain't got Nick Saban to protect them anymore. I mean, he was right.
Yep.
I can't believe he was right, but he was right.
Yeah, he got the T-shirts.
He was not shying away from hits. He was running people over, which you don't see that out of a quarterback. No.
He's got the Nick Can't Save Him T-shirts for sale now, I saw. But, yeah, 1,000%. For someone to talk shit about Bama and then back it up in that way. And he did remind me a lot of Jordan Travis, the former FSU quarterback who broke his leg and they didn't get to go to the playoff. But he did remind me of that with like the dual threat capabilities. He also seems like an incredible leader, and he was just going to go out there and win the game. Yeah. Simpson.
But Travis was like more of a elusive guy, not Castellanos.
Not like running you through.
He was going to run you over. But
yeah, we saw what happened when Travis tried to run people over, and his leg snapped in two, and they didn't make the playoff. But yeah, Simpson just wasn't it for me. I don't know. I don't know
I
who
tell you
was
what,
behind
like
him.
the fourth quarter, you really saw him like trying to make some plays, and there were some flashes of like good stuff there. He just did not have a lot helping him out. I was not expecting a pass rush to be that great, for FSU. He was running for his life a lot.
Yes, and just looking at Alabama rushing, which is has been their identity as long as
Yeah.
I can remember. Leading rusher for Alabama. Do you know how many yards the leading rusher Kevin Riley had for Alabama?
I'm gonna say 42.
Close, 31 yards.
Damn.
So not good.
Yeah.
I don't know. When does it really start getting ugly for Kalen DeBoer, or are we already there?
I think we were right there last year. They
Yeah,
didn't
a
make the
9-win
playoffs.
season or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
And now you come out and lay this egg.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
His only chance is to win out, basically. Otherwise, they're going to be burning cars and mattresses and shit in Tuscaloosa in front of his
It
house.
will be ugly. It will be very ugly. Speaking of very ugly, not necessarily the biggest flop of week one, because we also got to watch Bill Belichick's college coaching debut at North Carolina. And my goodness, that was bad from the start. TCU beat North Carolina 48-14. They did it in front of Michael Jordan and Lawrence Taylor and Mia Hamm. It was very bad. What was that? I don't even have a question for you other than Bill Belichick.
If you watch the first drive of that game, you think, "Oh wow, this team is going to go places. They are murdering TCU right now."
Yeah.
I think TCU came out and kicked a field goal on their next drive, and just didn't look like they were going to be able to keep up with North Carolina, and then just North Carolina just implodes. They just get destroyed. I think it was 27-7 at halftime or something like that, and then
I see. It was 20-7, and then they outscored them 21-7 in the third quarter alone.
yeah, it was. I think it was like 41-7 at the beginning of the fourth, and they were just turning the ball over, not able to stop anything that TCU was doing. And then Max Johnson comes in with, speaking of broken legs, and makes it look decent. I think he gets a touchdown? I didn't see the final
Yeah,
score.
9 for 11, 103 yards and a touchdown. Make sure you drink your milk, kids, for strong bones. But yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looked decent. He got a touchdown with his brother. But man, if you're Bill Belichick, how long does this last?
Very.
You've already made some ripples with the girlfriend. She's already been banned. You brought in your son to be defensive coordinator, and your son gives up that many points. It's not off to it. I mean, then they brought in 50 transfers or something like that.
Yeah, they brought in a ton of new faces.
Yeah.
And even the bright spot of Max Johnson leads to people must have been dying for him to come in the game, because then people start tweeting about Max Johnson, same age as Bill's girlfriend.
Oh shit.
So, just a tough scene, and it was so weird to watch, because when I was watching him get interviewed before the game, I felt myself feeling sorry for Bill Belichick.
I've been feeling sorry for him for a while now, but it just keeps getting worse. But did you see the tweet? I can't remember who put it out, but it was a tweet of the last completed pass was at 8:12, and it was at 9:30 now.
Yeah, Gio Lopez, the starting quarterback, I think he went 2 hours without completing a pass.
Yeah.
When it was all said and done.
I think it was 4-10.
4 for 10, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. Man, that first drive was something, but then after that, just garbage.
I don't know what happened. And it just is just so sad to see this man who was old, and you can tell he loves football, and he's returned to where his father coached when he was a wee boy, and everything is just turned to shit. I mean, you can still turn around. Again, this is week 1.
Yeah, you got time.
But you got your son here as your defensive coordinator, and he's getting y'all crushed, which was the big question last year from North Carolina because they couldn't defend anybody. Still can't. That was just absolutely brutal, because now we're talking about a man's legacy, which had already taken several huge blows with how his Patriots career ended. And now we've got this happening. I'm like, ugh.
Wasn't his son on the DC of Patriots too at the end?
Yeah. So, you just want to spend time with your kid, and it's just not working out that well. So,
you gotta be like Kirk Ferentz and fire him.
Yeah. We probably could get to that point. So, those were the huge flops. Were they the actual biggest in your mind, or do you have an off the board pick, Petey? Because we did have a lot of flopping going on this week.
I mean, those are some big flops. I think the biggest flop is actually Alabama, though. That is the most unexpected turnaround and squat and take a shit on the field.
It was disgusting. It was really bad. And there was just never really a point in that game where they looked like they were ever going to be in it. I feel like they just came out and punched him in the mouth immediately, and Bama just didn't look like they belonged. Yeah. And that's just very weird to see.
It was bad weather and stuff, but FSU was playing in that too. So
yeah,
deal with it.
Yeah.
That was the mentality of that team is not what we are used to seeing from a Nick Saban coach team.
No, not even close. So now looking ahead to week 2, something that I was ranting about a bit before the show. Not a lot of great week 2 matchups. Like you got to give us something. The only top 25 one is Michigan, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You do have some non-top 25 ones. You got the Iowa State rivalry game. What else caught your eye this week for week 2?
The only other thing I can think of is Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss blew out, was it Georgia State, I think, which obviously that's what's supposed to happen. Kentucky struggled with Toledo. I think Toledo is actually a pretty good team. But, didn't Ole Miss lose to Kentucky last year?
I believe so. I believe that was one of the ones that kept them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, so maybe they're going to come in there all, be pissed off and give Kentucky some revenge. But I guess we'll find out what these two teams are really about in week 2. But and it's an SEC matchup.
Yeah. So hard to be upset about a conference matchup. And then I know Michigan, Oklahoma. The story there for me would be the 2 starting quarterbacks, Mateer, who was very good last week, the Washington State transfer, I believe, for Oklahoma, and then Underwood, who was this big-time recruit for Michigan. They did not really play anybody good last week, so this will be their first true test, so just seeing how they do. But not my favorite slate of games, I will say.
No.
I will watch them because I love college football. But if you do have something else to do on Saturday, you do have some windows to make that happen as you prepare for better
week to do it.
Exactly. If not, then hold off until February at least. So, well, Petey, do you hear that? It's time to talk about Gamecock football, which means it is time for the Gamecock Football Captain's Log. Presented by Morris Island Charters, where you can get a lovely tour of the Low Country waters with Captain Petey. Captain Petey, as I said at the beginning of the show, I was there. You watched it on TV. The mighty Gamecocks of Columbia, South Carolina defeated Virginia Tech. What did you think? What were your big takeaways from this game? Let's just go through. I'm going to take my sunglasses off. And let's talk about what happened and why I lost my voice.
So I don't know if, how you experienced it in the stadium. But if you were to watch that opening drive, you would think that we're going to run away with this. This is going to be a cakewalk. And then much like UNC, not so much. Sellers goes down the field, just lighten it up. Big runs, big pass plays, get in the end zone. And then we kind of just stall out. Virginia Tech figures out how to play football on the second series and slow us down. My biggest takeaways are that actually Virginia Tech was a more rounded team than us, but made key mistakes in key moments. A couple drop passes to not convert on third down, a couple interceptions, turnovers, and we cannot block for shit.
Yes.
Running, passing, any of it.
That's true, and that's become a staple of our football team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
the trend continues.
The first drive, we were really aggressive, and we found this little tight end screen-ish play to Brady Hunt was working pretty well. And we were just aggressive throwing the ball and just kind of marched down the field. Yeah. Something interesting that was discussed in the stands, specifically between me and friend of the show and also our best friend, Brett Gosnell, who joined me at the game. No, actually, I joined him technically. But we were talking about how it seemed like the drives after that, we were determined to establish the run. And I don't know why you would go away from something working to try to establish the run. Why not just keep passing the ball? And then eventually you could establish the run that way when they finally made an adjustment. And that only happens when you're trying to establish the run. Like if the run was working, we would just keep pounding the ball. But for some reason, if the passing game is working, then we go away from that. We're like, okay, we've got this down. Let's try to establish the run. As you said, we could not really block. Oscar Attaway did try to start to make some stuff happen. Same with Faison. But I just don't understand this. It feels like an old school, antiquated mindset for we have to establish the run, especially with a team that cannot run block.
Yeah, I mean the only real reason I can account for that is that maybe they thought that we just were terrible at pass blocking and trying to throw deep would be a bad idea because we would just get Sellers hit, which is valid, yeah. But it was clearly not working. So why not just continue this RPO screen pass thing to the tight ends, which was working, and just get Sellers some movement. I would have rather seen us stretch the ball more, and then that way you back the safeties up, and then back up the linebackers. Everybody's thinking pass, then you open up more run up the middle or wherever. But get them not so much down on their heels, ready to come down at you. Get them backed up some, and let them have to play further back, and then we can put in some draw plays and straight runs and all that. But it just, I did not love the play calling. We did not stretch the field until the Nick Harbor catch, which I've been screaming for 3 years.
That is true.
Nick Harbor's hands are still not awesome.
Work in progress for sure.
He dropped some balls. What I'm very terrified of is that he is our only wide receiver. If you look at the receiving yards, it's all him, except for a couple catches by the tight ends. I think Attaway had one catch, or maybe two. And
I think he had two.
Catch. But yeah, I mean, just not a fantastic showing.
No. And I guess if you're going to have any hope, it does feel like the past couple of seasons we have taken a couple of games for a secondary receiver to step forward.
Yeah.
I am a little scared looking at the roster, but I've been shocked before, so it is what it is. On the other side of the ball, what did you think about our defense this game?
We can't cover anybody. We're very bad at it. The good thing is we have Dylan Stewart, who gives a lot of pressure. But I mean, Drones was able to evade him several times. Drones was scary.
Yeah.
If we play a mobile quarterback again, I don't know. That's any with a team that's better than Virginia Tech. It's probably going to be really ugly. Our defensive line is not great. They're a little bit bigger, but not as athletic as they were last year. Our linebackers are smaller, but they're faster this year. So we can get to the edges faster, but I don't think we're going to really be able to stack up the middle and stop, having goal line stands like we have in the past. And then defensively, our DBs are just, they got embarrassed. Lucky for them, there were some key drops, and Jones just threw some picks.
Yeah, I think that was the talk of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not just between me and Brett, but everybody was very angry every time Virginia Tech threw the ball, even on incompletions, because our defensive backs refuse to play the ball. They just do not even. They might glance at it every so often, but they refuse to make a play on the ball. It's like they think that they have to wait for the receiver to touch it first before they do anything. And it's just pathetic. And I'm sick of seeing that. And I think that's going to be a real problem because you're right. As good as Dylan Stewart is, I know Nick Barrett, he was wreaking some havoc there a little bit. We don't have the defensive line that we had last season. And so there will be more time to pass, which means our DBs have to cover longer. And we've already maxed them out, and I feel nauseous thinking about it.
Yeah, it's not a optimistic outlook defensive wise. I think the stats for this game looked a lot better than they actually were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of self-inflicted wounds that on Virginia Tech's part that made them look better than they were. I'm hoping that we figure some shit out, but I feel like this is just more of what we saw with Clayton White 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And I wish we would have made a move a long time ago with him.
So I will say, I do remember seeing on the ESPN scroll, Drones was 1 for 13 with 2 picks. Both of his picks, I think, were in our territory. So kind of a bend but don't break deal by our defense.
One was in the end zone, and that's what gave us the ball on the 2, and then the safety. The other one was on 4th down, and he just had to throw it regardless. Yeah. So, and he threw it to like 5. There was 1 receiver and 5 defenders in one area. So I don't know how that happened. I feel like he could have found someone somewhere else on the field, but it was not. I think they maybe had a fumble or something too.
Yeah, so it was no fumbles, but
we had a fumble.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
So we we did have a couple of, like Fred Johnson, who had the pick. It was silly to bring it out the end zone, but you can tell when a guy has never really had an interception before, and he gets really excited.
I don't know if he knew if he caught it before he was in the end zone or not. I think he was like a yard or 2 behind the line, but I don't think he knew where he was when he caught it.
Yeah, so he did have some moments. He was kind of flying around the field a little bit, had a couple of big hits. Same with Justin. Okay, let's try to do this last name correctly. Justin Okoronkwo, I believe is how you say it.
I don't know.
From Germany. I'm trying to get his nickname to be the Berlin Wall.
Okay,
so
I like
we'll
that.
See. We'll see what happens. You heard it here first.
The Berlin Wall got torn down, but
the early one. We don't teach history in this state, so why should we get hung up on that? Okay.
Like it's important or anything.
No. And then, what did you think about Sellers overall? Is he? I know there's been a lot of Heisman talk, best quarterback. I think I saw something as projected number 2 pick when he comes out, or number 2 quarterback when he comes out, which probably would be the number 2 pick behind Arch, I think.
Behind Arch. I mean, Sellers was more impressive than Arch was this week. I mean, the caliber of play was different, but I mean, if it wasn't for Sellers making something happen out of nothing, we lose that game. Several times you think he's tackled, and then escapes three guys and scampers up the sideline, even though he should have fallen out 10 yards ago. But I don't know how he does it. But yeah, I mean, I could see him being like Jaden Daniels when he was at LSU and having a shit team around him, but still winning the Heisman.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's the case.
That would be lovely.
It'd be nice. But if we could just get somebody to throw to, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would go a long way towards helping him. But I do think he was impressive. He does look better than last season. The only thing, and we talked about it probably every week during the captain's log last year, ball security.
Yep.
Like anytime he goes to scramble, there's one hand on the ball, and he's just waving it around out into the universe, and that's how he fumbled, and that's how he's always fumbled. Please, that's the only thing. The only thing.
Yeah.
But please do that.
One other thing I was going to touch on was the Harbor catch that got called back.
Mm-hmm.
Touchdown or no touchdown? What's your opinion?
This was the topic of much debate in the stands as well.
Yeah.
It feels like a catch. Obviously, we come off as biased, but that felt like a catch to me. Obviously, it was not. But, I mean, he had it, and he had it in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
But then going out of bounds into the ground, then it bobbles it. And it's tough, too, because like if a running back does that without catching the ball, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Where are you?
So I think by the letter of the rule, it is technically not a catch, but I think the rule is wrong. Because, I mean, he catches the ball, has both hands on it, and then pulls the ball away with the other. He gets both feet in bounds, falls 5 yards out of bounds, and then when he finally hits the ground, that's when the ball kind of slightly jars.
Yeah.
I think that's a catch. I mean, it feels like a catch. Everyone's going to say that looks like a catch. That is a catch, in my opinion. I think we got to be able to. I think he's established himself with the ball in bounds twice. It's clear, and I don't know what's going on with officiating because they did the same thing to LSU with Clemson. Almost the same exact thing, but more of a bobble when he hit the ground. The guy didn't have 2 steps, but. It's, I mean, that's a catch. I don't know what to tell you, but
yeah,
at least we're putting it in places where Harbor can do something with it.
Finally, yeah, and he looked pretty good running some slants and stuff too. Honestly,
yeah, he did. I would like to see more streaks down the field with him. I don't know why we waited until the second half to try and attempt this. The best call of the game. I'll tell you what it is. Or you tell me what the best call of the game is, what you think it is.
I mean, for me, it was definitely the making them repunt.
Yep, exactly.
Vicari
way more to gain than there is to lose. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but still, you back them up, make them re-kick it, and you just get another chance to make something huge. Otherwise, you're just taking the ball at the 25-yard line or 30-yard line. But man, Vicari Swain just was incredible. I thought he was going to get tackled like 10 times.
That's where I lost my voice, that play. I can pinpoint it exactly because I was just kind of subdued. I knew we had to do this, so I was like, I will cheer, but most of my cheering will be clapping. I will use my hands because I need my voice. That all went out the window during that play because that was ridiculous.
And then that play just changed the entire tone of the game. Obviously, Virginia Tech's going to have to make some big plays to get back in it. And then we were able to hit Harbor over the top after that. But just changed the whole mindset of that game.
Yeah, and I don't know why more coaches don't make teams re-punt, because you're right. Like, it's a 5-yard penalty, but 5 yards is nothing when you're dealing with college punters. Like, he might punt it 12 yards shorter the next time, or you could have a return touchdown. Like, just way more positive outcomes possible in that scenario. And one thing I will say too, obviously Atlanta is closer to South Carolina than it is to Virginia, but we had significantly more fans in the building, and we were loud and rowdy and ready for Carolina football. And obviously we have more to be excited about coming off of last season into this season than Virginia Tech would. But very good showing in Atlanta for the Gamecocks. Let's look ahead, as they will be in Columbia this week against South Carolina State. I don't even know if they've given a line on this one.
I looked earlier and I couldn't find one. Unless ESPN had one, but I was looking at a different app.
I do have the ESPN matchup predictor. It is 99% South Carolina Gamecocks victory. You've spoken to the Dolphins. Where will they be placing their entertainment porpoises, and what do they need to see this week to feel good moving forward?
Well, obviously we don't have a line to put, to play with, so they're going to put their entertainment purposes on the W with the Gamecocks. What they would like to see is some kind of continuity on offensive line, being able to establish a run game, getting some wide receivers involved other than tight ends and Nick Harbor, and then having our defensive backs be able to do something respectable as far as covering receivers. Because I think you and I could have gone out there and caught the ball against them.
Yeah, probably. And even wearing my sunglasses when I can't see, I could have done it. So, yeah, this has to be a week where we get rid of all of the question marks that came about week one.
It's got to be a get-right game.
Yeah, because, it's great to win, and a win is a win, an ugly win, all that bullshit that people love to say. But we need to look a lot better. We certainly, I don't think, look like the number 13 team in the country.
No.
So, yes, I agree. This should be a week where we figure some things out heading into our first SEC matchup the following week. So, beautiful. What do we have to talk about? Have we covered it all? I think we did cover it all.
I think we got everything covered.
Okay. Well, if they want to see you in person with your captain's hat, Petey, remind them again where to go. We'll put it in the show notes too, so you can just click a link.
Yeah. Go to morrisallencharter.com. You can call, text 843-608-8006. Email me, morrisallencharters@gmail.com. Instagram, all the stuff's there. Google Morris Island Charters. I'll pop up.
Do it. Especially, this might be the weekend to do it, because, again, not a great slate of games. So go out Saturday and find you some shark teeth.
Saturday is filling up fast.
You better hurry up. All right. That is it for episode 2. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week, same time, same channel. Maybe a name, maybe not. Stay tuned.